In part 2 of the show, I thought it would be appropriate to start out with Juve's city rivals Torino, and on the other end of the line is Torino blogger Rob Gilman, and he joins me to talk about Il Toro. Rob, how are you doing this evening?
I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, Rob, Torino are playing in Serie A for the first time since 2008-2009, when the club were last relegated from the top flight. And obviously Torino is a very historic club in the realms of calcio. So firstly, what does it mean for calcio in the city of Turin to have the club back in Italy's top flight and once again to battle city rivals Juventus?
I think it's obviously a big deal for Toro to be back in top flight. I think even most neutrals would agree that a team as historic and as famous as Torino probably belong in the top flight and in Serie A. I think even Juventus fans would agree that it's good for Serie A. It's good to have the derby back. It's always good to have derbies in any division. I think it's probably one disappointment for Torino. Maybe they couldn't get promoted when Juventus weren't as strong in the last couple of seasons. Whereas this season they've come up and Juventus sort of look unbeatable. Although Inter and a few other teams have proved that not to be the case this year. But it's a little disappointing that Torino couldn't have got into the top flight whilst Juventus weren't as strong.
I think some Calcio fans may be surprised by the team's current position of 11th. I know I wasn't expecting them to be in such a comfortable position this time of the year. The club have won 6 and drawn 9 thus far and have been quite difficult to beat. We definitely cannot overlook the fact that Torino have gotten 10 positive results against the teams currently below them in the table, and Il Toro picked up draws against Lazio, Napoli, and Fiorentina as well. What is behind Toro's gritty play, and how have the team gotten results that may have been unexpected of a recently promoted team?
I think the most important thing of Torino's promotion campaign last season was their strong defence, and sort of they definitely weren't the most entertaining team, but they could sort of grind out results, and they've sort of carried that on this season against your lower teams. Sort of we've just played Siena and we've just played Pescara. Sort of having a good defence means you can base from there and attack. And then against the better sides, like you mentioned, Lazio, Fiorentina, Napoli, just try and counter-attack when they're attacking, go on the counter. We've got players like Alessio Cerci who can really use his pace against teams when they try to bring it to Torre. And we're just difficult to beat. It might not be the most entertaining way of football, and in some games I've watched this season, it's not being the best fun, but they definitely get results. I mean, one worry might be that they haven't actually beaten any of the top 10. Which maybe shows they're a bit better against teams who are of like inferior quality. But as you say, only 6 defeats all season. Got some draws against some of the best teams in the division. And I mean, even against Juventus in the derby, they play really well for 30 minutes against arguably definitely the best team in the league. And until Kamil Glick got sent off after about 33 minutes, I think it was, Toro were right in the game and probably were well set for maybe holding out for a point. So I think the most important thing for any new promoted team is to be difficult to beat, and Torino certainly done that this season.
Well, I think most impressive may be the fact that the team is picking up those positive results against those teams around them in the table, unlike some of the other clubs such as Pescara or Sampdoria. Those teams aren't necessarily doing as well against those teams further down the table.
Yeah, it's definitely true. To use a cliche, they're the 6-point relegation battles. It's important that you get the 3 points. It's more important even that you've got the 3 points, but your opposing team haven't got the 3 points. And against teams like Pescara, just in the most recent game, we've got quality players, and I think that counts against the lower sides. They can really, whilst they might not be able to impose their impact against the bigger clubs, against the teams of similar quality, players like Alessio Cerci, Mario Santana can really show their quality, and that helps us get results.
Club captain Rolando Bianchi has been linked with a move away from the club. He leads the club with 7 goals at this point, but his performances have not only been about his goal scoring, obviously. He has been excellent as a leader on the pitch. And how important is he to the club?
Like you say, hit the nail right on the head there. He's certainly an excellent leader on the pitch. He's been great for the club off the pitch and on it. You can tell when you watch a Torino game, and with his reaction when he scores, even if it's a header from 2 yards, he'll celebrate as if it's the winner in a World Cup final. And he really does care about the club. And He's a great player, and it would definitely be a big loss if he left the club in the summer. In recent seasons, when Torino haven't been doing so well and been languishing in Serie B, Bianchi's been the one bright spot. He's almost single-handedly helped Torino to promotion, and almost ironically, in the season where Torino did get promoted, Bianchi had probably his worst season for the club. But this season, he's proved his critics wrong. He's scored goals, important goals as well. Hopefully, personally for me, I hope they can sort a new contract out and he can stay for a few more seasons. Because I still think he can do a job in the top flight. And just fingers crossed that we can sort a deal. His goal scoring record for the club's absolutely incredible. Only 9 players in the history of Torino Football Club have scored more goals than Rolando Bianchi. And that's an incredible statistic, and one which I think people hope he can stay, especially Torino fans hope he can stay maybe 1, maybe 2 more years and try and increase his goals for the club.
And Rob, what is it that's keeping the two sides from agreeing on a contract extension?
Personally, for me, I think the key point is his age. I think he's 29 at the moment, and he's a big earner. So I think he's on about €1 million a season. So it's about €20,000 a week. And I think the problem is, Chairman Alano Cairo doesn't really want to pay him more money than he's earning at the moment, because obviously if he signs a 2 or 3 year contract, they're going to be getting a 30, 31-year-old player, and he's never been the quickest, but his powers might start to distinguish quite quickly. So I think the sticking point will probably be if they can arrange a deal where he can sign a new contract for exactly the same money, not getting paid any more and not getting paid any less, because he's a free agent in the summer. So if anybody else wants to buy him, they don't have to pay a transfer fee, and they could sort of give him a big payday. So I think the important thing is that Bianchi gets paid well, and Torino don't have to pay too much. And if he does go in the summer, it'd be really interesting to see whether we splash out the big money and go and sign a big name replacement, because I think the fans would certainly want to see that, because it would be a big player to miss, and he would need replacing.
And on the topic of key players at Torino, there's obviously the highly rated Angelo Ogbonna in defence, and he's been linked to several teams in Serie A as well as the rest of Europe. Tell me a little bit about this centre-back.
I couldn't praise Angelo Ogbonna enough. Even you could tell when he was 21, 22, that he has such great potential. He's everything you'd want in a modern-day centre-back. He's quick, he's strong, he's got great anticipation, but he's not just about power and pace. He's really elegant on the ball, can pick out a pass. I think he's only scored 1 goal for Torino, which is probably an area he needs to improve on. But I think it's inevitable that he'll leave in the summer. Hopefully he'll go to another team in Italy for his chances for the national team. I think it's probably best that he stays in Italy and is a regular. But I think every Torino fan has just got their fingers crossed that he doesn't go to Juventus, because they've had experience of that with Federico Balzaretti, and they definitely don't want to repeat to that. So I think everybody's sort of resigned to the fact that he'll leave. He's been injured a lot this season as well, so he hasn't played as much as he has in prior seasons, and we've actually coped quite well without him. So I think it's probably about time that he moved on to bigger and better things, as much as it hurts me to say that.
Last summer, the team added Serie A experience to its roster in the form of Alessio Cerci, Mario Santana, Walter Bursa, Matteo Brighi, and Jean-Francois Gillet. And a few of those players, like Santana and Bursa, may have been considered as busts prior to signing. In your opinion, who has been the team's best signing, and has anyone unexpectedly caught your eye?
All those players you've mentioned there, I think they've all added something to the team. I think Cerci can be lazy at times. He's definitely got a little bit of added quality, which we haven't really seen at Torino for a couple of seasons. But I think probably the most impressive signing, the most important signing, was Alessandro Gazzi, who signed from Siena in the summer. He's not the most stylish footballer you'll ever see, and he's about 6'1". He's got ginger hair, and he's got a ginger beard. He definitely doesn't look like a footballer, but he's been really important to Torino this season. He's quite good in the tackle, and not really much gets past him. Really hard worker. I think Gazzi's probably been one of the star players for Torino. Players who have caught my eye, I'm a huge fan of the fullback Danilo D'Ambrosio, who's been at Torino for a couple of seasons since he signed in 2010, and he's always been just a member of the squad, never really been able to cement a first team place. But in recent weeks, especially in the last couple of weeks, he's started to play really, really well, and I didn't think he was as good as he's showing to be now. And it wouldn't really surprise me. This might be a bold statement, but I think he could possibly play for Italy one day. I might get laughed out of town for that, but I think he's improved so much in such a short space of time. Still quite young. He captained Torino in the absence of Bianchi at the weekend because he was suspended. I think he's really impressed me.
Finally, Torino are 9 points above the relegation zone. Is survival a foregone conclusion, or could they get sucked into a dogfight at the bottom of the table?
It's absolutely not a foregone conclusion. I think any Torino fan will tell you that if there's one team who could mess this position up from 11th and 9 points clear of the relegation zone, it's probably Torino. So it's important not to get complacent. Keep playing as we've been playing, and try and get to 40 points as quickly as possible. We've got a big game at the weekend against Inter, and we haven't beaten any of the established big three sides, if you will, Juventus, Milan, and Inter, for about 10 years. I think the last one might have even been as far ago as 2001. So after 2 wins in a row, confidence should be high, and hopefully we can go to the San Siro with no fear, try and win. And if we don't, still got to keep our heads up. We haven't achieved anything yet. Try and get to 40 points as soon as possible, and then maybe we can look at possibly reaching the top half of the table and a top half finish. But yeah, it's definitely not over yet, and that.
Excellent stuff, Rob. Excellent stuff. And before I let you go today, please let our listeners know where they can read your stuff.
No problem at all, mate. If you just go onto Twitter, Torino Blogger, just go on there and follow me if you need to, or the website of the blog, which I usually just run match reports and match previews and transfer news, etc. I think it's www.torino-football-club.com. You'll find it on Google. It's my website. I don't even know the address of it. But yeah, if you type in Torino Football Club on Google, you'll see my blog. But anyway, thanks for letting me speak about Torino. It's been great fun.